rather than mid-trail and into the trail. We're all one community. The other thing that has connected us as an entire community, fires, right? So today we've got a double whammy of bringing us all together for important things on the Gunflint Trail. So I'm saying I wanted to do this to introduce Marcia because I wanted a chance to thank the board from past to current, and most of all, thanking the community, the Gunflint Trail community, and because I see some of you here who have lost loved ones, and you're back again. That's when I realized that this held as much meaning to this community as it has for me to be able to offer it. So it is a part of the community that has been very valuable. I was just going to give a little timeline, a little context of this program. I served on the board of the Historical Society. I had to look it up from 2011 to 2020, so 9 years. And then I went back to my files to see how long I've been doing these remembrances, and I found files. I might have been doing them even before I kept records, but it went back to 2014, so 11 years of that. And we began posting them on the website in 2020 because of COVID. I literally did it from my house and filmed it, and then Dave Coleman got it up on the website. So one of the gifts of COVID is that it's now available on the website. So it indeed has its place in history. A time for change. There's a favorite scripture in the Bible from Ecclesiastes, a time for this, a time for that. The Byrds put out that great song, and Bob Dylan put out Times They Are A-Changin'. So the times they are a-changin'. And I knew when it would be the right time for me to pass this baton on, if you will, partly because I'm figuring out how to live in a chair most of the time. And then I knew the right person would show up. And the right person showed up at the right time. And it was Marcia Rupke. If you guys don't know Marcia, you will. In fact, she's really good at showing up because Fred Smith sort of passed the baton to her, right? She is a creative, this is what I wrote, she is a creative critter in the North Woods. She is an artist of words because she does trail time. She took up the baton from Fred Smith in his Wildersmith column. She is an artist of watercolor, pencil, oil, all of it. She has a show at the Johnson Heritage Post beginning August 14th through September 13th, a solo show. And hear the title of her show: Painting Pictures with Words, Telling Stories with Paint. All kinds of gifts, including the spiritual gifts that she can offer today. So thank you, Marcia, for being here at the right time in the right place and for saying yes. And we came up with a little exchange here to mark this moment. One of the things that I started using was a singing bowl, and that we would use to commemorate all of the people that have passed. So I'm passing this on to Marcia. You're welcome. And it's all yours.
Now I've been practicing, and I'm still not as good at Barb with my
Let me try to paint an oil picture.
to bend the singing bowl. I had to turn down an offer for a friend recently, and I said, I'm sorry, but I won't be able to make it because I have to go to the Namaste store in Duluth and buy a Tibetan singing bowl. Right, she said. So let's start remembering. When I first started reading the obituaries of the people that died along the trail this year, Many of them were strangers to me. I knew two. Those, of course, were the hardest to read. After I got done going through the details of their lives, brought out the bullet points I thought humanized them, made us see a little into their character or their personalities. There are 20 neighbors now. Some of them I didn't know, some of them I really wish I could have. We remember them now. Tell me if this works. Yes. If you love the Gunflint Trail, know this. You leave a part of your heart here. And you also carry part of the spirit of this beautiful land with you wherever you go. And that sweet part, the portion you leave behind, will be here for you when you come back, to welcome you to this place where your northern heart beats. We who live here, no matter our differences, all share the same love of place, this home for the heart, the wild boreal soul of the north. May all who left us rest in peace. Jerry Peterson spent his time mostly in Mayhew Lake. He was born in 1947 to Carlton and Lucille in Waterloo, Iowa. Graduated from high school in 1965. Met his darling companion, Dee Slauson. They met in high school, married her in 71. They raised 2 daughters. Jerry built a respected business and enjoyed kissing Dee in the kitchen. He spearheaded long road trips with his family, serenading them with bursts of song. He delighted in his grandchildren and loved being their backup. Jerry and Dee moved to the woods outside Grand Marais in 1999. Jerry thrived on adventure, and boat racing was his passion. He enjoyed snowmobiling, flying airplanes, and midnight canoe rides with Dee. He departed this life September 9th, 2024. Remembering Jerry. Ken Berlinski from Cedar Rapids, Iowa. He was born in Winona to Emil and Augusta. He married Barbara in 1951, and he served in the Korean War. He and Barb were active in square and round dancing. He enjoyed spending summers in northern Minnesota, fishing, and was active in Gunflint Trail events. He died peacefully January 27th, 2026. Remember Ken. Phyllis from Seagull Lake. She was born in Highland Park, Illinois, graduated from high school in Champaign and the University of Illinois. In 1953, she joined a friend going west to look for work. She met her husband Vern in the employment line at Douglas Aircraft. They raised a son and a daughter, and she taught grade school. She enjoyed sports like golf, tennis, square dancing, reading, gardening, and attending music and theater productions. She liked to travel with Vern in their Model A. She passed away June 28th, 2026. Remember Phyllis. Jack Bergdorf, Gunflint Lake. Born on July 6, 1930 in Evansville to Otto and Gladys. Graduated from F.J. Wright's High School. Joined the 9th Marine Reserve 16th Infantry. He was called to active duty in 1950 and assigned to E Company 5th Marines of the United States Marine Corps that was sent to Korea. He received medals and citations for his service, including a Purple Heart. He married Bertha Cornell in 1953 Together they raised 3 children. He bought land on Mile of Pine with his fellow U.S. Marine Corps buddy, Ken Lind. Jack and Bertha spent summers at the cabin that he and his family built on Gunflint. He passed away July 7th, 2025. Excuse me. Would anyone else like to share something about Jack? Remember Jack. Don Salisbury, Hungry Jack Lake. Born in Minneapolis on April 21st, 1946, to Willis and Betty. Graduated from college in '68, established and operated Knights Creek Nursery in Menominee, Wisconsin for more than 30 years. Enjoyed spending time at his grandparents' cabin on Hungry Jack Lake. Took picnic trips to Rose Lake. There were annual events for his family. He passed away on July 9th, 2025. Does anyone else have anything to say about Don Salisbury? Remember Don. Jamie Brock, born on an Army base in Wyoming, October 26, 1945, raised in Des Moines. Met his future wife Janice at Valley High School. Went to Iowa State University, then to medical school in ophthalmology. He practiced ophthalmology in Dubuque, Iowa for 37 years. He was a true fan of all his children's sports, recording every race and game with a 30-pound video camera. He enjoyed hunting, fishing, and all outdoor pursuits. Memorials have been established to the Gunflint Trail Volunteer Fire Department. He died August 17th, 2025. Does anyone have anything to add about Jamie? Remember Jamie. Corey. He was born in (1974) to Robert and Mary Lou. He guided many people on fishing trips. He wrote a column for the Cook County Herald, owned and operated Skyport Lodge and Raven Rock Grill. He passed away on October 16th. In 2025 in Grand Marais, with loving family by his side, he was 51. He's survived by his loving wife Rochelle, daughter Sophia, son Robert, known as Bo, and many other family members and friends. Does anyone else have something to share about Corey?
I was privileged to call Corey a friend for many years, and I cannot think of anyone who embodied the spirit of the Gunflint Trail like he did. He could fish anywhere for anything at any time and loved it. And he was such a vital part of the rebuilding after Young Lake, being involved in sprinkler systems and homes. And personally, I will be eternally grateful to him for the rest of my life for letting me in on the secret fishing one day. That campsites has something called a latrine. And I didn't have to go into the woods anymore if I didn't want to. So my eternal gratefulness to Corey for everything that he taught me.
Anybody else have anything to share about Corey? Remember Corey. Ron Nims. He was born May 15th, 1945. He loved to travel, especially to his lake cabin and to Hawaii. He adored his children, grandchildren, and siblings immensely, and loved to spend time with them as often as possible. He passed away peacefully on October 23rd, 2025, preceded in death by his wife, Sue. Does anyone have anything to add about Ron? Remember Ron. Barb, you're gonna have to help me with this one. Dennis Knightsky? Nietzsche? Knightsky, okay. He was from the United States Forest Service here. Very important role to play up here for everyone. He was born November 26, 1953 in Alma, Michigan to Fred and Carol. Graduated from Alma High School and earned his degrees in forestry and wildlife biology from Michigan Technological University. Married Debbie in 1984. Spent a career spanning more than 3 decades with the U.S. Forest Service, working in the forests of Michigan, northern Wisconsin, and Minnesota. He was the Gunflint District Ranger who facilitated the agreement with the Gunflint Trail Historical Society to make Chik-Wauk possible. He passed away on November 2nd, 2025. His family had this to say: "We trust that he promptly delivered a huge hug to his 5-year-old grandson Nolan and his dad, Fred." Does anyone have anything to add about Dennis?
He was really a key to get Chik-Wauk going.
Yeah.
I don't think it would have happened if we hadn't done the ranger up here. There was nobody like him.
There was nobody like him. We remember Dennis.
Sorry to interrupt. I gotta grab a work trailer up in the back corner, and there's like the Cook County Rescue, and then we phone numbers.
There's a Cook County Rescue in the way, and what else?
It's a Honda Accord Blue, it's a Subaru Forester, and CRV.
Wow, what color Subaru Forester? There's about 7 of them.
There's 2 bright blue ones, but it's one of the 2 bright blue ones.
That direction.
And there was a Honda, you said?
Yeah, that corner. That's so sorry.
That's all right, it's important. What are you gonna do? I'm gonna proceed. John McNancy, Gunflint Trail in Gull Lake. Great friend of Bonnie Schudy's, I believe. He was born February 4th, 1961 to Dr. James and Patricia. Enjoyed a long career in the telecommunications industry. Was a master storyteller who resonated humorously with his audience time and time again. His most memorable mottos were 10 feet tall and bulletproof when asked how he was doing, and improvise, adapt, and overcome, of which he lived daily by example. His positivity was truly infectious. His greatest passions were spending time at his cabin on the Gunflint Trail and captaining his boat, Riptide, as a fishing guide on Lake Superior. He passed away peacefully on December 12th, 2025. Does anyone else have stories about John? Anything to add? We remember John. Bonnie Kreitz, born in March 29th, 1949 to Robert and Lorraine Hammerstrom. Married Lloyd Kreitz. Bonnie taught health education for 30 years in the Wayzata School District. She loved being a teacher. Her favorite times were spent with Lloyd on the Gunflint Trail and in the Boundary Waters. Bonnie had been a member of the Gunflint Trail Historical Society since its beginning. She passed away peacefully on December 17th, 2025. Does anyone have any stories to share about Bonnie? We remember Bonnie. Lucy Oswald. She was born in St. Paul to David and Lucille on July 14th, 1942. Married Robert Oswald, raised 4 children, attended Anchor Nursing School in St. Paul, worked at Fairview Riverside Hospital as an orthopedic nurse. I love this part. Her reason for choosing nursing was because her friend was doing it and it seemed fun. Loved traveling with her family, particularly long road trips around the United States and Europe. She passed away on January 15th, 2026. Does anyone have anything to add about Lucy? We remember Lucy. Dave Trueheart, Seagull Lake. Born on July 28, 1946 in Minneapolis to Arthur and Grace. Served his country in the U.S. Navy during the Vietnam War aboard the USS Guadalupe and was awarded 2 Bronze Stars. Worked in engineering, construction, and metal fabrication, owning and operating 2 businesses. He was awarded 3 patents for his designs. He co-owned an outfitting business on the Gunflint Trail for 22 years with Deborah, who survives him, as do his 4 children. David was an incredibly intelligent man and an extraordinary father. He was happiest when fishing with family and friends. He passed away February 23rd, 2026 in Jacksonville, Florida. Does anyone have anything to share about Dave? We remember Dave. Bob Warren Wilcox Jr. Born March 11th, 1956 in Texas to Robert and Lorraine. Was the CEO of Lakeview Clinic for 43 years. Enjoyed traveling, skiing, dining at restaurants, collecting wine, fishing for smallmouth bass, going to his cabin in northern Minnesota, and spending time with friends, family, and his 3 grandchildren. Bob is survived by his loving wife Mary and many family members and friends. He passed away Monday, March 30th, 2026 in Waconia.
I don't know if you had it noted, but he's from Hungry Jack Lake.
Oh, he grew up on Hungry Jack?
Well, his cabin was on the north side, the historic cabin was on the north side of Hungry Jack.
And were those his parents or grandparents?
You know, I don't know.
It was,
You know?
yeah,
It was his aunt,
His aunt?
Jenny Selvig.
Oh.
He inherited from her.
Did you know Bob?
Yes.
We remember Bob. Mary Tester. She was born December 18th, 1927 in St. Paul to Robert and Florence Lewis. She graduated from Hill Murray High School and attended the University of Minnesota. Mary married James Vincent Tester, the love of her life. They were married for 63 wonderful years. Mary, James, and family spent many summers at the end of the Gunflint Trail, enjoying their family cabin in the North Woods. Mary devoted many years to volunteering, enjoyed working crossword puzzles, knitting, and listening to music, especially opera. Above all, she treasured her family. She passed away peacefully April 17th, 2026, preceded in death by her husband James. Does anyone have anything to add about Mary? We remember Mary. Betty Mae Holman, East Bearskin. Born in 1930, raised 5 children, member of Atonement Lutheran Church since 1954. For 60 years was a dedicated maker and server of pancakes for all every Sunday after church. Enjoyed their cabin on East Bearskin for 47 years. Was an enthusiastic supporter of Chik-Wauk. Passed away peacefully on May 6, 2026, preceded in death by husband Tom and son Curtis. Does anyone have any stories about Betty May? We remember Betty May. Raleigh Atkins, Loon Lake. Born on May 28, 1945 to Geneva Bruce and Harold Monson in Marshall, Minnesota, they divorced and Geneva married Glenn Atkins, who became a true father to Raleigh. He grew up in Pipestone, graduated from Sauk Rapids High School, was a paperboy at the age of 9, went on to have many jobs, including working on a mink ranch, filling in graves, and pounding spikes for the railroad. The story is that his stepfather told him, "Raleigh, you can use either your body or your brain." And then he began college at St. Cloud State University, transferring into engineering at the University of Minnesota. He worked as a chemical engineer at 3M and later at Larson Boats. Started Atkins Securities in 1983. His wife Mary liked to say that his hobby was his job and his job was his hobby. He began his new life in heaven on May 10th, 2026. Does anyone have any stories about Raleigh? Maybe someone could get that fly. We remember Raleigh. Scott Stanky, Gunflint Trail. Born March 14th, 1953 in St. Paul, Minnesota. Married Diane Denny Price at the Gunflint Chapel in 1978, which began his lifelong love of the trail. Raised his family in White Bear Lake. In 98, Scott and Diane purchased the Loon's Nest gift shop, made a gift shop into a home, and the Ugly Baby Boat and Bait Shop was born. Scott worked in the shop till the day before his passing. Passed away peacefully at age 73 on May 11th, 2026, preceded by daughter Kia and wife Diane. He is survived by his daughter, Tisa Butcher, and many family members and friends. Does anyone have anything to share about Scott?
He was a classic Northwoods guy. He really was classic.
I'll always remember Scott because every day in the summer when I walk outside, I have a garden of irises and lilies that he donated to me because he was a master gardener. And
He
I
was a
used to walk
master
with his
gardener?
wife. He was, well, maybe not officially, but he wasn't.
He was a master gardener.
And I used to walk with her when she was alive, and so he donated many to us, and they're all around our yard.
Wow, what a beautiful memory. We remember Scott. You know, Barb used a Tibetan singing bowl when she did this for so many years. The only magic with a singing bowl is it makes us slow down when we ring it. I wait until the tone has gone away. We're so busy. We move so quickly. We can wait for the tone to end before we move on. This is from Barb. We take time to remember them here, but we know the trees, the waters, the rocks, the wild creatures, they hold the memories through the ages. Time is different on the Gunflint Trail. The past, the present, the future is all here in every moment. It is a magical place. May your memories continue to bless you, knowing that in this magical place, all is well, all will be well, and all manner of things will be well. That's from St. Julian of Norwich. remember all these